Welcome to Google and time management. This is the course. We should be here for about 30 to 45 minutes, which will give you an insight on how you can better time block and use your Google Calendar to do so. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the slides and get us into the mode of sharing with you kind of the starting points. So let me get ourselves over here in the corner. So one of the most important things in real estate that you're going to find is it's very difficult to run your business unless you time block. And it's a business that's designed on basic tactics. And for those tactics to work and be in place, you really need to budget time for each of those blocks. So it's a mechanism that is hard because you're in charge of your own business. You have to make a commitment, and you need that commitment to align with your personal life. And that's why time blocking becomes so very, very important in this process. So I'm going to give us a couple of objectives here of what time blocking actually looks like. So the keys to time blocking in your business, one is the goal is to give you a better quality of work. That means that when you apply yourself with more focus, you achieve better results and you hold yourself more accountable. You raise your productivity and you're more efficient. Of course, you're less stressed and you're less anxiety driven because you have a very focused time that you come to your table, you organize what you need to get done, and then you walk away and you're like, wow, I did that, I accomplished that. So the less stress and the anxiety and improving the quality of your life are the things that when you're in business for yourself become really, really important, because the only person that can control the time is you. So in the end, the result will be more career growth, more financial wealth, right? And then really more time for your family and friends. What I want to tell you is that when you're first starting out in this business, you are going to be more challenged to invest more time until you develop consistency with the schedule and what your actions are going to be. So do know that in the beginning, your investment in time will probably be more than 40 hours a week, but that the goal is that you want to get to that objective by a certain time. And if that's in the first year, great. So just know when you want to try a new project, it does take a little bit more time. The key components to an organized schedule, number one, is you have to have the right attitude. Cindy, you have the right attitude, which means that you're excited about wanting to be here and you're excited about wanting to make your business happen. And then you have to commit to your goals. So really, in the end, what are your goals? And that's going to become the next part of this conversation. Is when you start out as a new agent, you're just trying to get yourself all organized. But in week or month two, there should be an opportunity for you to meet with your MD to talk about your goals and your objectives, post them, share them, let people know what you're trying to achieve. By now you've come around and you're thinking, okay, this makes sense and this is what I like. And that person as your coach should be able to guide you into what are actions to be able to create those goals and move them forward. Key component is to have a time check. Set a time limit for each of the things that you want to execute. And I'll show you how to do that in Google Docs as your base. You can run over with those or you can run under with those. But if you're forced into a basic day-to-day calendar, you will become much better at learning how to achieve, for instance, your hour of power where you're making your calls to your prospects, or an appointment that you set is going to be in this defined window, not just whenever the client wants it. So when you set up a more structured environment for yourself, you ask the client to step into your environment and you get better results for your own organization and for getting things that you want to get done. Someone requires you to say, well, I need your time here. And you're like, look, I have these 3 time slots. Which one works for you? When you then put them in that time slot, you feel more organized about scheduling it. And you're also limiting that time frame. So that's super, super important. Key element, do you have a to-do list? For some people, it's a rolling to-do list. In my case, it's rolling. I do feel like I have 25 things that are on my list, right? But if you don't have a consistent place for that in your life, at your desk, on your computer, wherever that works for you, you have to really figure that out. Is it a sticky note thing that you put on your computer? Is it the same pad every day that you come to? Is it a calendar that you use? Everyone has different ways of doing that, but you need a rolling to-do list, and you need to see yourself cross things off and make success, just like you need to continue to add things to the bottom of the list. So again, it's structuring the to-do list. It's not a piece of paper in the kitchen and another piece of paper on another thing. And oh my God, over here, I've got another piece of paper, because you can't get anything done. You're just being super unproductive. So to-do list that you're constantly adjusting is critical. The fourth thing is planning ahead. For a lot of people, they're planning right in their space. Like today, this is what I've got and this is what I'm doing, and this is totally focused. But they have no idea what tomorrow is going to bring. And I always like to say, at the end of your day, if your day is 8 to 5 as your basis, granted it's going to adjust accordingly a little bit, but that's your basis. At 4:45, I want 15 minutes to plan ahead for tomorrow. And what it does is it drops me down to a level of where I can say, okay, I concluded today. I picked up a couple things I didn't manage. They're going into tomorrow. And when I walk away from my office or my desk, whenever that time is that you choose, you're leaving that on the plate for tomorrow with a goal in mind to create that. So your mind settles and you don't go to bed with these running thoughts in your brain. You've put it on paper, you've program tomorrow into your brain, and you're ready to make tomorrow happen when you get up. It will allow you then to work out in the morning or to be doing journaling or whatever it is that you want. And at night, it will allow you quality time with your family or your friends or the people that you're spending time with. So planning ahead allows you to close a day and let the next day open up already pre-prepared. It definitely changes the way you work with yourself. And then number 5 is start with the most important task. A lot of procrastinators are like, oh, that's a really big project and I don't want to do that. And so they postpone it and they postpone it and they postpone it. Think about the things that are on your to-do list that are kind of complementary to your basic schedule, and make sure that you work on the most important tasks that'll get you the best results. So an example as an agent is prospecting, making a phone call, connecting with the client, and setting an appointment, because that builds business into the future. If you find yourself making the priority to meet with the lender or whatever it is, those things don't directly affect your business. Make sure they affect the volume that you're trying to achieve, which is ultimately your paycheck. And then focus on one thing at a time. That can be hugely distracting in this business. That means there's a phone call or someone follows up and you think you have to call them right away. Take notes, make sure your phone's set on, I'm in a meeting, I'll call you shortly, right? Make sure you're doing that. Make sure that you then turn around, you have 5 minutes after you get off of a call to follow up with those individuals and take notes. One task at a time gives you focus to what you're trying to achieve. So again, this is just about right attitude and the commitment to wanting to make your business happen. Make changes in your schedule. I want to make it clear, we're going to build you a basic schedule on Google, but you are going to make adjustments, and I'll show you how to do that today and how that happens. But when you have a basic schedule to work off of, it's so much easier to change the schedule slightly. The other thing is that after a month, your basic schedule may become super easy for you to manage. You're like, wow, this is great, and I have lots of time, and I feel comfortable. There may be a need to go in and revise your basic schedule. So know that you're going to grow into your revised schedule, right? And there needs to be openness to that. The one thing I'll tell you to do is to avoid perfection. There are people out there in this business who love to be perfect, and they spend hours taking that project apart. It's not right yet. I don't have the right things. I need this. I need that. It becomes an incredible waste of time. So my feeling on the subject is you're going to be a little less perfection oriented. It's going to help you slow down and you're going to accomplish your goals. Because if you get so wound up in a situation that's making you feel like it has to be perfect, it'll be forever before you write your bio or you send your photograph in for your photographs for your cards. Bottom line is you want the cards and you want to go out and start talking to people. So just know that you need to make sure that you're not making this overly committing on the perfectionist side. All right, keeping a to-do list, you need to be intentional with those things. So drawing up this list might not seem like it's groundbreaking to you. You're like, yeah, I create lists all day long. But it's really one of the most powerful ways to become more productive, because as you make that list that you keep crossing things off so that you see progress, very organized, you cross it off, you add to it. It starts to help you develop how long things take, how important they are to your day. Are they important? You'll start not putting things on the list that don't matter. You'll be focusing on the things that are for your business. You'll also have a section that's there for your family if that's what you need, but you'll find yourself becoming more productive when you keep that list, and then also learning how to edit it out as you become more experienced with your list. It's almost like you want to grow with your list. And if you don't have a list, you can't grow. You can't throw away the things that don't matter, and you can't add the things or make the things that are more important more important. So keeping a to-do list is extremely helpful in designing where you're going to go with your business. All right. Be prioritized. Rank your tasks in order of importance. Do they actually align with your goals? So if you're adding them to the bottom of the list, you can't always really realign them, but you can give them priorities. So there's a whole thing called ABC. The A's have got to get done today. The B's are things for tomorrow. And the C's are really things that don't matter. So if you just keep changing A, B, and C on your list, eventually you're going to figure out which ones align with the goals that you've set for yourself, which is to drive business, make appointments, connect with clients, and have a closing, do listings. That's your business. If you're not doing those things, then you're not aligning to the goal, which is ultimately to get a paycheck. So just know that looking at those little things on the list is really important as well. Be focused. Manage your distractions. So I've had the person get on a call and they're driving around and they're doing this and they're in the car and they're not focused and they're not at their desk. And it's like, wow, your life is really complicated. If you focus to your business, you'll have more success than if you attempt to do it from 3 different places. It may be the dog, oh, excuse me, the dog's in here with me and I can't make that happen. Well, this is your business time and it's focused. So for those hours that you're dedicating to your business, maybe the dog and the kids need to be someplace in a situation where they're away from where you are and your door is closed. Again, more focus, less distractions will get you more productivity. Be structured, time blocking. We'll talk about that here in a minute when I show you the calendar. Be self-aware, track your time, learn from your mistakes. My problem is that I get on a conference call and at the end, I've got 3 minutes before the next one starts. I'm beginning to really be bothered by that. So one of my distractions, and I'll share it with you, is this new little hourglass thing. And it's an hourglass for 30 minutes. It's kind of beautiful. It's zen-y, but it's 30 minutes. And if I turn it upside down, it'll give me 30 minutes of time. It just sits on my desk and it tells me, well, you're making progress. You're getting there. You still have a couple minutes. Things aren't looking too bad. And it helps me track myself. So when it gets to the end, I'm like, wow, now I need to really say something and realize that my call needs to end and I need to move forward to my next call. So everybody has a different way of doing that. For me right now, this is kind of my little tool that I'm using on my desk to control my time, to be more productive and to also be more engaged with the people that I'm talking to. So whatever works for you, you can have a timer, you could have whatever, a clock on your computer, whatever makes it right for you. Track your time. Learn how long it takes you to write a contract. Learn how long it takes you to make 3 phone calls. Very important to building your business and getting very tactical about it. All right, so these are basic set SMART goals. I think you've probably, if you've been in business for a while, you've seen these before. But SMART goals, which is where we started at the very beginning, are really the things that are measurable. So if you have 5 or 6 goals for your business, you need to be specific, you need to be measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-based. If you have them be all of these things, you will be able to achieve the goal. If they're just the goal to do something subtle on the side and the goals aren't organized, your life will continue to kind of be a muddled mess. Again, you're learning how to build your business by being tactical. And that's the hardest part about being a real estate agent, is the business is all over the place. So when you put the structure into your business, you start to understand where you're failing at your business and where you need to make the adjustments to improve your business. Without that, you'll never be successful in this business because it's a constant moving target. So just know this is, again, to help you stay top of mind, right, on your goals. So I always like to tell myself, start my day with a clear focus. Yes, if I put my calendar together in the afternoon and when I close my day, I start with my day with a clear focus because I made sure last night that I knew what today's objectives would be, right? Have that great list. Focus on high value activities. High value means things that will get you business. That's what you're looking for here. Minimize your interruptions. We talked about it. Don't procrastinate. Very, very easy for some of us to do. Limit your multitasking, be focused, get to the next project, and then review your day at the end of the day. All right, what tips or tricks do you use to better manage your time? Cindy, what's your thoughts? Anything out there that you've been using that's working to keep yourself on track?
Well, I switched over to that Google Calendar, and that really helped me because I could view it where the blocks of time are bigger and just on top of each other. And that really has helped me.
Awesome. So I'm going to move into that document here shortly, and I'll share that with you. This is kind of my fun thing. Like I told you, this is my latest gimmick. It's a 30-minute productivity timer, super beautiful on my desk. It's really nice. I have one for 5 minutes and one for 30. So when people come into my office and says, so how much do you need? 5 minutes, great. I turn it over and I let people watch their own time for their own self. So if you're looking for something like this, you can have fun. That's kind of a new little tactic that I'm using for my time because my time has become really valuable. All right, so we're going to explore time blocking here, and I'm going to take us off of the screen and move us into Google Docs. So bear with me. And I'm going to go back to sharing my screen, and I'm going to show you what a Google space looks like and how to manage it. So anyhow, let's go back to this. So this is Google, and what I've done here is I've created a template for how to actually create a good schedule, working schedule for someone that's in real estate. So on the side over here on your Google Calendar, when you step into it, you have what's called My Calendars, and you will see many calendars here on mine. I have created a calendar for training, which is specifically this, and categories, and then I've got some personal ones. So right now what I'm showing you on the screen is the one for training. So the following things are what I would create on my calendar if I was a real estate agent. The categories are as follows. Appointments is part of your job responsibility. So you're going to want to create a new calendar when you click on this button here, right at the top. Right here, you create other calendar. You're going to just create this and you're going to go create a new calendar. And when you create the new calendar, you're going to write in whatever the name of it is and your description, and then you're just going to hit create calendar. Really simple to do, and it's going to add it to the left bar within your search. So super easy. Does this make sense, Cindy? You click on this little guy, you hit the plus sign. Are you with me? And you create a new calendar. Give me back your mic. I can't hear you.
Yes, I like that. That's cool. And I love the color coding has been.
So you get to color code it any way that you want. I just created some colors out there. So the categories that I've added to my calendar to help you organize your real estate business, because I've already kind of redone this. The first one is appointments. You should be creating an appointment category. These are going to be the appointments on your calendar. The second will be education and classes. Every week, you're going to want to educate yourself in this business until you become so good that you won't anymore. But by the way, all real estate agents always need to educate themselves. There's always something new to learn about the business or something new to learn from Car or NAR. You're always growing your knowledge. So there's always going to be an education or class structure to your week. Then you're going to have office hours. That means when are you going to commit on your calendar to be at your office and manage your business? And that's different for different people. It may be at Starbucks. It may be in your home. It may be at the office of your brokerage. Someplace in your calendar, you need to have office time where you're just focused, closed doors to manage your business. Very, very important, right? Just like when you went to a regular job, you had a certain time you had to be there. So office hours are very important to a real estate agent. There is prospecting. It's called the hour of power. You should have a prospecting color-coded thing on your calendar. We'll talk about that in a minute, how that lays out. You should have a personal calendar, right? You are a personal person. You have a life on your calendar every day that's before the office and after the office, right? I've used some examples here, right? You need to have those on your calendar. You need to see those because in our psychological mind, it's very important to know, for instance, that I went and did my dinner with my family, or I read a book, or I went to do my soccer coaching, or I had a movie night with my family. If you organize what you're doing with your family, you're going to be much more productive with your family. You know, tonight's my book reading night. I'm going to go back and do my reading, or I'm going to work on my journal, right? You could also come in here and say, and I'm going to give you this example. You go to a personal calendar, and let's say before you go to work, hold on, from 7 to 8, you're just going to come up, you're going to click on the box, and you're going to write gym workout, right? That might be your thing. And oops, gym workout. So you want to do a gym workout in the morning to get yourself going, right? So you're going to say from 7 to 8 your gym workout, or maybe it's going to be from 6 to 8, 6:30 to 7. You might just do it for 30 minutes. You're just going to fill it out. You're going to repeat it. And maybe you're going to say, I want to do this every day of the week. You know that if you come to custom, you just click on all the days that you want to do this, right? And you're never going to, it's going to go on forever on your calendar, and you're going to hit done, and you're going to save it. So now I know every morning at 6:30, I should be in my gym, in my office, or whatever it is I'm doing. You might get done with that and say, oh, and I apologize, I don't think I gave you the right category. So right here is your category. This would be personal. So you go back to your personal calendar and change it right here before you actually put it into Google. So I know that all the pink things on my calendar, right, are all the things that relate to my personal life. Do you see that? So here I had gym workout, drive time, driving to the office, journaling twice a week. That's really important to me. Whatever it is, this helps me get out of bed and be more focused about my business. Hey, I need to be at this part of my desk doing this. Then I put a social media calendar together. Social media has become super important to real estate. And in order for it to function, it has to be consistent, and it has to be every day. So you can decide how long you want it to be. But when you get to your computer, you're going to Instagram on your phone, and you're moving it to Facebook. Then you're going to Facebook, you're pulling up people, and you're letting people connect with you. That process needs to happen every single day for it to function in your life as a tool to drive business. If you don't do it every day, it will not function that way. And this is controlling the time frame when you invest in it. Not just when you fly by or at the grocery store, or you took a hike. You can take some extra pictures and all that wonderful stuff, and you can send those out. But to drive your business, you need to have a focused social media time frame. Very, very important to building that. So these are kind of the categories that I put together. As you can tell, it's pink are all the personals. So I put down here social media check was going to be early in the morning. I think I also had meetings. Let's see. Oh, I didn't have meetings. Company-wide meetings. I forgot to put the company-wide meetings. I also put a button for company-wide/meetings. So I'm doing all my personal stuff here, and at 9 o'clock, I want to be on the Daily Distinctive, and then by 9:15, I'm doing social media for 45 minutes. It can be whatever time frame you feel comfortable with, right? Then I work and I decide skills training, and you will be hearing more about this as we move into March, but we will be offering skills and tools training at Coldwell Banker for you to grow your business. And those will always be at 10 o'clock, Monday through Friday for 1 hour. So there'll be skills, and then there'll be tools classes. And these are super important to get involved in. They're a full month of training and learning. And again, you're enhancing your knowledge. Prospecting will be your 11 to 12 slot. Prospecting 1 hour a day is a great way to do it. It's best to do it before lunchtime, because that's when you're going to get the most responses. So you just schedule 11 to 12. You create the prospecting thing on your prospecting thing, and you're very organized about what you're doing. So then I want to do lunch. Please put a lunch schedule on your schedule. Many people are like, well, I never get to lunch. If you don't put it on, you won't attempt to do it, right? Or maybe lunch for you is a lunch and a walk, because you need movement, because you do sit a lot in this business. So it's a lunch and a walk for 1 hour. And it may take you a while to get to that calendar, but you need to schedule that time, because you'd be much more productive in the afternoon if you do. You do need a little bit of time for email and phone calls, because of course your email box is rolling and it's got lots of stuff in it. So you need a good concentrated hour for that. Any callbacks, I call this callbacks, texting, checking in with anybody that needs you. Maybe it's a vendor, or it's a client that needs something from you. There needs to be organized time for these things to happen on your schedule, wherever you decide that needs to go, right? And then in the afternoon on my typical schedule, or even a real estate person, you need to have appointment times, because ultimately, if you're up here prospecting, you're looking for appointments, you're looking for listing appointments, you're looking for connecting with buyers. So if you have all these appointment windows down here pre-laid in, you have a client call you on Monday and say, oh, Cindy, I really want to get together with you. And you're like, well, let me see where it's going to fit. It's really easy. I have appointments at 2 and 3 in the afternoon, Monday through Friday. Which one would you like? Right? So you're very organized about what you're doing to control your sanity. And they go, oh, well, I can easily do Wednesday, right? Again, people always say, well, they need me right now. It's like, no, at first they need to fit into my calendar because that's easiest for me to manage. So if you come down here, you just click on your appointments. You basically take the eraser and you're going to write down, instead of the appointment, you're just going to come in here and you're going to write Cindy. Oops, sorry. Appointment, right? And then you can write in here the location, right? We're going to meet at Caldwell Banker, whatever we want to do, Caldwell Banker. I'm not a good typist. And it says your Montrose. I put the address in. I write myself some notes here, maybe the phone number of the person. Oh, we're going to meet for lunch, right? And then I just save it. So I just save this event, and you'll notice that it says Cindy's appointment now, right? So you feel really in control. You're going to go to wherever Cindy is, or she's going to come see you, or whatever it might be. But you're much more in control of your space here when you get controlled on what I call a time blocking calendar. And you can use this calendar as a sample, or you can start working into it. So when you start working into it, what I wanted to show you is all this fuddle-dut stuff right here, right? There's a lot of stuff going on here that's overlapping, and you can't be in all these places. So on a basic schedule, in our office, you got to be at the 9:30 meeting. So that means the social media that you were doing on Wednesday is getting displaced, correct? Because it's happening kind of at the same time. And this is, again, office sales meeting. This was on 2 calendars. I apologize. Somehow it got onto 2. Part of it's because on my calendar, the Montrose meeting is, I have to take this as red, is take it off. But you don't need both of these. So you've got, this one probably would come off. You just remove it, right? And you can say remove from all the future calendars, right? And then you've got to figure out how to get this. So maybe on Wednesdays, you can't take the skills class because you're in your staff meeting. So you just get rid of this. You just remove it. You're adjusting the calendar going forward because you're always going to be at the staff meeting. And then the social media needs to move maybe into a different time slot. So you may have to go in here and say, well, if our meeting is until 10:30, I can come back and do my social media from 10:30 to, let's say, 11, because I think the window is 11. We'll look here and see if it fits in. And you're going to change it going forward all the time. So basically, you've stuck your social media in a smaller box than when you really started. Oh, except you know what? I can't do that. I can only do it for this one. So we're going to go back to, I had, I think, 9. Again, this is the flexibility that you're working 9 to 10, 9:15. Sorry, it was 9:15 after the huddle to 10:15 weekdays. So it's going to go back to normal for all of the events. And then what I have to do is I have to go in for this week and I have to move it for just the day. So I hit the little cursor. I go and I go, I'm going to say I'm going to do this from 10 to, or from, sorry, it's from 10:30 to 11. And it's going to be weekly on the weekdays. No, I'm going to take it basically to here, and I'm going to say that I'm only changing it for this event. So basically it's right here, right? I've moved it. So I've gotten my sales meeting in there. I still have my commitment to that, and I have my commitment to all the other things in my life. So again, when you start developing a business and clients need more of your time, certain things are going to adjust, right? But you kind of know where you're at. You have a great base to start with. You should stick with that as much as you can and hold yourself accountable to that time frame. Down here at the bottom, we have close the day, right? 4:30 to 5. Maybe it only takes you 15 minutes to regroup for what tomorrow looks like. But when I go into my calendar, I always look at 4:30 and go, okay, what does this muddled mess look like tomorrow? And I take things off that I don't have spaces for. So I might remove this appointment if nobody needs it, or I might make these adjustments based on some conversations that are out there. Or I also say to people, you know, I'm not available tomorrow. I have some things going on. So the reason you're building consistency is that if you don't continue to call clients, which should really be happening, you should be doing 5 phone calls a day to create 3 appointments for next week. That's the routine of real estate if you want to make money. And you might say, wow, that sounds really intense. Well, the first week you're going to call 2 people a day, and then you're going to get 1 appointment, and then the next week you're going to grow to that. Appointments are what build listings, connecting with your sphere of influence, your neighborhood, your friends, whatever that might be. So you want these appointments to fill up. So that you have conversations and you're able to make that. And the appointments can be anything. They can be meetings to meet new clients. They can be, focused on prospecting clients. They can be a friend that you've met that you want to network and you want to hear about the house. And then there are things like drive time. If you live in a different market where you have to drive a lot, I literally track my driving on my calendar because I drive an hour to get back and forth from work 2 times a day. So you have to plan that into your life and realize that that's going to come from my personal time because I've chosen the job that I've chosen. But if the more dedicated you are to this kind of a basic schedule, the more productive you will be, and the tools will help you get there, right? And the color coding is just to make it look flashy and fun. So that's what I love about it, right? But I feel like if I went through a week of this, I'd probably come out being much more productive about my business, and my business wouldn't feel like it's so part-time and so out of control and I don't know where to put it. In relationship, it'll also force me to do things around my schedule to achieve what I'm trying to achieve for my business. Any thoughts, Cindy? Anything that you need help with?
No, I like it. I'm using the color coding and all of that. So for now, it's working. Hopefully it'll fill up a little bit more.
Yeah, it'll come. Like it's just a way to, it's a skeleton for the future, right? And that's why I also say make sure that you learn from this exercise for a while, and then you're going to make adjustments to an adjusted calendar based on what you're learning, right? And don't forget that your personal commitments are super, super important to your life. So, if it's important for you to add things on Sundays and Monday or Saturdays and Sundays, write them on the calendar for God's sake, because they make me feel good, right? That's where I have my free time. And I think sometimes we always think real estate is an easy business, but without focus to it, it doesn't grow. And this is like having a regular 9-to-5 job, right? But you're working for yourself, so you don't know how to do that. You don't know how to get yourself structured to make it work. Awesome. I'm glad you showed up.
Thanks, me too.
All right, sounds great. We'll talk to you shortly. Take care. Thanks for coming.